Hello everyone, welcome to a special Dealerchat Live. Today we are coming to you from the boardroom of G3 Auctions, and I'm joined by Jodie Barber and Joe Smith, who run Wink Cars in Tipton, West Midlands. If you haven't guessed already, they're a female-run used car dealership, and I'm really looking forward to discussing how this has affected the Wink Cars journey. So, in your own words, who are you and how did Wink Cars come about?
Wink Cars came about in 2021, Joe. Give you a bit of background. We were friends, played football together 8-9 years ago. So we were teammates. Then in 2021, I was working my corporate job, selling forklift trucks. I'd left the motor trade, I'd been in the trade about 5 years at this point, just selling cars. And Missy, you know, if you leave, how addictive this trade is, straight back in. And flipped a couple from my drive and I thought, I need to give this a go. There's an itch at the back of my head. I thought, need a partner. Like Jodie Barber. I was driving down the M6 and it just come to me. And gave you a call then on. I says, Joe, do you want to come on this on a mission? And she went, what mission's that? And I went, let's be the UK's first and only female-run car dealer. And we had lunch the next day, didn't we, with your mum and dad, and we had a good chat and Wink Cars was born. But the name, Joe, actually come from Jodie's background. Do you want to carry on this bit?
Yeah, so originally I've got no experience in the motor trade. I was a beautician beforehand, self-employed, running my own business through that. And on the back end of COVID, because it was close contact treatment, it was on, off, didn't know whether I was coming or going. I say Jo was a great saleswoman because she sold the dream to me. And yeah, that's how we got on board. But I was Wink Beauty before, so we carried it over. We wanted something a little bit different, something a bit niche, something you haven't heard much before.
You already had the following, didn't you, Wink Beauty? And we wanted to say that it was a female-run car dealer, hence the colours, the peach, but without screaming it as well, didn't we, Jode? And it had a bit of ring to it, but that's how the name come about. And then, so we started just a little bit of savings each, couple of cars, kept them at the back of an industrial estate, Jodie's dad's business, for the first 12 months, keep our overheads down, just keep flipping, keep stacking. And moved to our premises, August 2022. And yeah, it's just gone on from there. We're selling roughly and stocking around 20 cars a month now, Joe, at the minute. So yeah, it's good, primarily sell low value cars. But yeah, that's Wink Cars in a nutshell, really. Brilliant.
And did you, was it full-time right from the get-go, or were you doing this beside your sort of...
No, so it was like when we first started, we were both working our full-time jobs. Well, it was all right for me because I was self-employed, bit naughty.
Actually, I'd done my ACL, so I'd complete rupture of my ACL, my MCL and my cartilage. So I couldn't go to work in my corporate job for 6 months. I could sell cars from my drive a little bit.
Yeah, doing
here
it
and there.
At the evening when we'd finish up at work. On the weekends, we just committed ourselves to it.
Yeah, so that must allowed us time to start building and the ideas. And then for the first, year, we were juggling the both. And then, as you know, Joe, it just gets too much and you think, whoa, if we're going to do this, we've got to do this properly now. And it just took over, really. And it got
took on the second premises, didn't we? We had an office that we could base ourselves from. And, like I say, the workload was getting more and more. You handed your notice in originally to start off with. And then slowly I came into it after that. And yeah, working full-time it's probably coming up to about a year for me now.
For you, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been good.
Yeah.
How has that been, like being full-time now? Was it just a complete change? What difference it made, going full-time?
Joe, we love it, so it don't feel, it's so cringe, and I don't mean this to sound cheesy, but when you do what you love every day, and I'm working with my best friend, and we're selling cars, we love people, we love the industry, we love cars, we love selling. It doesn't feel like, I've got to get to work today.
Yeah.
It's not work. Well, look what we've done today. We've bought 6 cars. We met some fantastic people at these premises. Like,
what more do you want?
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, I agree. I think that's why I'm like a bit obsessed with work. It's like, it's my work, it's my hobby, it's...
Yeah,
are you as obsessive? Like you're at home, you're thinking about cars and all evening? Yeah.
We take it into the evening with us. We're like valuing cars the night time. I'm already looking through the leads in bed for tomorrow morning, like pricing up part exchanges. So yeah, we don't really stop, do we? Because at the minute it's just the two of us. It's every other Sunday off, if that, isn't it? So It's full on.
And again, going back to, we get too excited. And I know this is when you know you like the job, because I'm at home or I'm on the laptop and I'm still not tired. I just can't wait for work the next day. And I know that sounds so sad, and a lot of people think, gosh, get a life, like get an hobby, go and play football again. But I just love it, and it helps, doesn't it, Jode, when you love what you do?
Yeah, it's infectious for each other as well, and it's good to have two of us on board. You help keep the morale up, and we've got pretty positive outlook on everything, pretty similar views, morals on how we look at the business as well, because working in a partnership as well, that can can make it difficult at times if you disagree. But we've worked through it, haven't we? And made some good choices along the way, made some bad choices, but you rock and roll.
What have been your biggest disagreements?
I think our biggest disagreements, it's because we're both so passionate of where we want to take the business. And I think it's not so much a disagreement of you should buy this car or we're not buying this car. We don't disagree about that. It's just probably there was that stage when it was how do we take it to the next stage. Now our personalities, as you get to know us individually, I'm probably a bit more of a whirlwind 100 mile an hour. Joe, let's do this, let's fly to the moon tomorrow, let's make a car that can do that. Not to that extreme, but Jodie's a bit more, right, let's get our ducks in a row and let's get a plan. We'll do this first, then do that. And it's right. And we've got that balance.
Yeah.
And because Joe's my friend and we've got such respect for each other, but I think it helped with us being teammates to start with, playing football, because we always say we were teammates, then we were friends, then we were business partners. And I think even when you have those, naturally, I'm not going to sit here and say we never disagree on anything, because naturally you do. But we respect each other's opinion and we listen to it, and both mature enough and love each other and respect each other to, you have your say, I'll have my say, let's compromise, let's meet in the middle. And it's worked for us, and we never go to bed on something, well, we've never had an argument, but anything that's not been resolved.
Yeah, and I'd say even if I'll let the reins go, let Joe make a decision, and sometimes vice versa, it doesn't work out, but I wouldn't hold her accountable and be like, oh, I knew we shouldn't have done that. You know, it's part of the learning process, vice versa. The same with me. If I've made a decision and it's not worked out, we won't blame each other. You know, we look at things and we think we move on, we go forward, and you can't dwell on things, can you?
Yeah. If you can say we made a decision, then you can't really be too angry with each other. But sounds good. Sounds like you're each other's yin and yang. I could probably use a bit more of a Jodie in my life, because I'm probably like Joe. I'm just like, let's do this, let's do that.
I need a Joe. You need a Joe.
You can rent me.
I need someone to rein me in for sure. There must be something to do with this job and how it kind of takes over. I don't know why it's. You don't hear this. Maybe it's because I don't speak to those people, but people being so obsessed with the job and it taking over every aspect of their life, working through the evenings. I guess you can look at cars in the evenings and try and do all that sort of stuff. But it does seem to take over. It seems to be a fairly common thread when we sort of talk with other dealers.
And I think if you've got that energy as well, you do need a lot of energy for the job, don't you? And it's the perfect job to channel your energy in. And that's why I love it, chasing the sales, and because you need the energy. And it's a good way to burn it. And if you do it right sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit obsessive with the laptop on a night and scrolling through the listings and thinking tomorrow what can we show. It's addictive. You love it. You can see what you.
Yeah, well, we just want to grow as well, don't we? And just keep selling, making money, and to benefit our business as well for our future.
Yeah. So you said you're stocking around about 20 cars at the moment. But you said you sold 24 last month, which is pretty incredible, really. From a stock of 20, that's a very impressive stock turn. Is that is that generally just how things are going? And is that the aim? Get more cars, more sales?
Yeah, like I say, we had a great month last month. Roughly, it can be ranging from 15 to 18 cars that we're selling on average. But we have invested a little bit more money in recently with a few more cars, and we've seen the sales go up more. But I think we try and stick to what sells, and just keep flipping those cars that turn around, because the The most days in stock when we had a look at our auto trader yesterday, was it
32. So we've got
32.
19 cars in the portal at the moment. That was before today's buying session. And our eldest car's 32 days in stock. So that'll just give you an idea. But at the minute we're trying to scale, or we are scaling, hence why we've been out today, bought another 6 cars, because we're trying to get used to, juggling a 20 stock business to want to take it to 30 cars. And so we're juggling that at the minute. And I think last month was the first month where we're seeing that little bit of extra cars, really. We were hitting the same figures, weren't we, for 12 months. And then last month we put a bit more into it and a bit more stock, and we can see the rewards off it, couldn't we?
Yeah.
It's a numbers game for us, because we sell low value cars. We don't want cars to sit, so it's a numbers game.
And we price them competitively as well to get them out the door that little bit quicker, because we are surrounded in our area with franchise dealers, bigger dealerships, some of the bigger boys are in the area, and we are an independent, so we can't stock the same kind of cars they're stocking, because we can't compete with those guys. You can go and get the Mercedes package there, can't you?
Not from the car wash at the minute anyway, can we, Joe?
Not in Tipton, no. So we have to think outside the box with what we're stocking. The first time driver cars, your 1.2 courses, that kind of stock we know sells really well. So yeah, that's what we try and buy.
Yeah, brilliant. Just to give you the flip side of it, I thought I'd have a look at my Auto Trader portal, and my oldest car in stock is 233 days. Wow. So you're doing much better. Literally 200 days better than me.
Is that the Porsche? You got a 911 though, haven't you?
We did. No, that's sold now. No, this is a transit van.
Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to sell us transit vans here today. It was an ex-Virgin van, and it's got a load of really weird stuff in the back.
Do you know what though? We put your hand up.
I've got to ask a question before you do. What weird stuff have you got in the back of a transit?
It's loads of shelving, but it's got. It's not that weird, I suppose.
Okay, that's it's just keep it shelving.
Yeah, no, it's fairly PG. Shelving and like a power generator and that sort of thing, which I guess people don't want.
I have got to say though, before we had some dead stock on the peach that we couldn't shift, and we really focused about 2 months ago, get rid of that dead stock and concentrate on how many days everything is in stock, because we don't want it sitting no longer, because if not, it starts to gather cobwebs in the corner, and you don't want that, do you? So
no.
Not in this game anyway, so we really focused on that. It's not always been like that the past year. We've had to learn from our mistakes, and you said to me earlier, learn the formula, and it's bang on, that was. So, yeah.
We had the Mini for about 8 months, 6, 7, 8 months, we only sold it about 6 weeks ago. And then after that, we said, right, anything now that's been in stock X amount of time, we'll just drop it. If we've got to take a loss to get the cash flow back in, we will. We just don't want it sat there and using the space on the pitch.
And that money's tied up on there, where we could be, we might have to take a bit of a hit, but we can go and reinvest that money in something else and flip it, So it's weighing it up finding the
It's one of the hardest lessons to learn, is knowing when to just get rid of a car, even if it's at a loss. Because at the meantime, that car sat on the forecourt, and no one's interested in it, it's not selling. You might sell it to someone else who can sell it really quickly, so it's great having trade contacts. But that money sat there, it's not doing you any favours. It's never going to make you loads more money, so the sooner you can put it into something else.
Yeah, and another thing, we went on Auto Traders Insights Day, and we learned how much we were paying per day, per car, and we totted it up for one of the cars that we'd had in stock the longest, and we were like, we've lost on it if we hadn't have flipped the other cars that month, we were losing on it anyway. So that really made us reevaluate that.
And I think why we are only stocking 20 cars on our site, our pitch at the minute, it's a lot, is the word easier allowed to use, us to be in control of our stock management and days in stock and everything, where there's just the two of us. When we look to double that, and the bigger franchise, the bigger dealers, and the car supermarkets, obviously you ain't going to have 150 cars all less than a month old, are you? Days in stock. You're going to get the few that are going over. But I think where we can be so hands-on with every car, and we're actively price checking them every day and see how our adverts are performing. We use the portal to its full potential. And we can at this stage, and we do that, and it does benefit us, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, I think, is scaling, but keeping your standards the same. And I've definitely fallen foul of it. You're just like, oh, I'll just get an extra 20 cars in, I'll double my cars. And then you're like, oh, why has that car come back now after a week? We didn't check it properly.
Yeah, but you're making 3 YouTube videos a week, and you know.
Well, yeah, I'm doing a lot of other things, but yeah, but then I've also got staff, and it's just you two. But it just saying that it's as you grow, it's harder because then you get staff, and then you got to make sure that they're doing the same standards as you are, and that gets even harder.
And I think as well, what we're navigating round at the minute is prep. If we get to auction and we haven't got a prep facilities on site, so we sub out all our cars, Joe. So like, if we go out and bulk buy, okay, so there's going to be a backlog with one mechanic we use. We have multiple mechanics locally, but it's still getting them in with them. So, okay, we've bought 6 cars today, but if we went and bought 20 cars to double our stock profile, the car would depreciate by the time we've got it prepped and online and pictured up and everything. So we have got to do it, like you've just said, step at a time. And then another 6 cars now, and then we'll see next month we might go another, you know what I mean? But we're learning, aren't we, Jode? And yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So is that the goal there now? You've got another 6 today. Is it to be that your stock levels, your sort of base stock levels now are going to be 25? Is that the plan?
Yeah, and then hopefully slowly grow from there. We are looking actively for a second premises as well. Because we feel like it's the all being well,
it's coming in at the end of the year. But we don't. It's one of them. We don't want to say too. You don't want to say too much in case it don't happen. But at the same time, we've told everybody as well
on the podcast.
On the podcast.
Yeah.
So we've verbally agreed a second unit. And there's a few things that got to be sorted out. But that will allow us to double our stock. But again, we don't want to just jump straight into it. It's a couple of months away anyway, so now we're getting used to buying in bulk, using different auctions, using different platforms to buy our cars. And I think it's getting us ready for when we do make that move. But that is the goal. The short-term goal, we want to hit that 30 car a month, don't we? Mm-hmm. And I think ideally by next summer, if we can do 30 cars a month, and that's our short-term goal, that's what we're aiming for at the minute.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with 30 cars a month most months. If I could do that every month, I'd be very happy. So yeah, I'm sure you will, especially if you've got another site. But yeah, like you say, you need to do it, I guess, like step by, like, it's probably good you've got that couple of months because you can now, like, let's start practicing for getting up to those numbers.
That's it.
How have you found it, seeing as you have to use, outsource all your prep and everything, being a female-run business?
We have been, not worries me or anything, but we have been stung a couple of times, haven't we, along the way? And, when I first started, because I had no experience, it was like talking French to me, I didn't know the difference between a Focus and Fiesta. Everyone thought I was balmy when I was getting on board in the car game. But we're here now, and I'm learning as I go along, and, you've just got to ask as many questions. And luckily, our mechanic, he's great, isn't he? He'll teach me as I go along. I have a look online, but there's been challenging parts. We won't say it's not been challenging because it's like, okay, and we've got a bit of a system in place now where all our cars go to one mechanic, he'll do the health check and the service, and then we sub out, if he says, Joe, it needs 2 springs or this, that, the other, we sub it out to our other mechanics then, because then we found in the past, mechanics reviews people aren't picking their own works and stuff and jobs like that. And because we're not mechanically minded and we know the basics, we can check over a car, but we're not mechanics. So if they come out with the jargon and whatnot, they'll try and spin your head, and you've got to... You've got to be a bit savvy and be aware, haven't we? Just have your wits about it. Get a second opinion if something doesn't sound right, if something's a bit, that's a bit high price, get a quote somewhere else, just call somebody up. And so you've got to be hot on that sort of thing. But we've got a good system in place now. We've got a great team really around us that don't work for us, but they're around us, like the mechanics that we use, support us, MOT station, the bodywork. We've got we found it, and we're still... Because I was talking to some dealers that have got up to 70 cars, and even they still sublet the work, So and I was asking about it, and which surprised me, because I thought, wouldn't you have in-house? But they found similar of picking jobs, things like that. So, it was interesting. What do you do, Joe? Do you sub your work out, or do you got a...
No, we've got 2 mechanics. But I can see the benefit of... we used to do mechanical work for other people as well. Oh, okay. And then I was like, it's just getting in the way of doing sales, and I'm interested in sales, not repairing people's cars. But Yeah, I can see benefits to either.
Yeah.
You send it off to someone else, they take care of it, and it comes back. Whereas currently, I've got to manage everyone, and like, why aren't you fixing that? Why aren't you do this? What's the problem with this? Oh, okay. And you've added like an extra pressure on, so it's like a whole other job. You start prepping your own cars in house, so it does add an element to that. But I mean, you don't have to do it all, do you? I mean, even us, we don't do it all. If we got like Range Rovers, which I stupidly buy, then we'll send them to a specialist.
But we've got to be organised as well, haven't we, with it all? Because there's just the two of us. Before it was like, well, we've just signed up with Dealerkit and we've started a DMS system. So that's it's exciting. Setting it up to start off with, getting our heads around it. But it's a great system. And before it was post-it notes, whiteboard, in your own head. And I put in the diary this week and Dealerkit of everything that I'd had in my head. And I was like, see if I was carrying this information. So now I can remember birthdays and put everything else into Dealerkit system.
No, we can't. So
Gives you headspace again.
Anniversaries, birthdays.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that stuff ever. No matter whether I got Dealerkit or not. Yeah, so you've got a good system in place, and you can get someone to kind of like pre-vet the cars for you, so you're not getting things. But I was just curious. You almost feel like a bit of a nervousness for me when you say, obviously, you're female run. It's just the two of you. You know, like what kind of attitudes you might come up against. With everything, obviously, there's going to be negatives. I bet there's some amazing pluses with being female only. Do you get a lot more women come to you, do you think, than would do, or other dealers, or?
Yeah, you shouldn't feel nervous at all asking that question.
No, I don't mean nervous and asking. I just mean, I almost feel for you like
I know what you mean.
thought of if you say you were my sisters or something, going into this really male-orientated.
Yeah, okay.
The pluses outweigh the negatives, don't they?
Whether you get bad attitudes and things like that, because I get bad attitudes sometimes, and I'm a man, and I feel like, I can shoulder that.
We get the odd one or two here and there, but I think it massively works to our advantage. It's different, it's a niche, and there's that many car independents and car traders out there. How do you stand out from the rest these days, unless you get a good social media platform? And there's a lot, so it does work to our advantage. And we're in the same game as men. We want to earn a living, we want to do it right, and we want to have a nice life. But I think it can be. We've had in the past. I've had men that won't talk figures to me, or if it comes to I'm doing an offer or going through the figures with them, they'll be like, no, her, and you have to talk to the wife, or they won't shake your hand because you're a woman. And then
or think I'm the reception. If I'm honest with the manager.
Jode's been asked, is she the receptionist a few times on the pitch?
Yeah.
And
can I speak to the manager, please? And I am.
It's quite satisfying. So you speak to the owner if you like.
Yeah. But do you know what? We don't play a woes me card. You know, we get on with it. We take the ball by the horns, don't we? And do you know what? We see it as an advantage. We get a lot of women walk through the door and they say, "Oh, I went on your website and that's the reason I've came down to buy you." And they've only got 20 cars to choose from, but they'll still buy with us because I feel like sometimes women might have a comfort aspect there.
Trade. Look, I love the industry. I love the people in the industry, but there's a lot of back street dealers that give us guys a bad reputation, and there's this stigma around car salesmen that you're the half a daily sort of character, and it's so wrong because yourself, us, we do things correctly, and I think because we're women, and it's not like I don't know what's. Like the typical car salesman, we don't look like a typical car salesman. You have got that trust element. Well, we're all doing the job in the right way, but it does help because you have got that trust element. And I think if we don't know the answer, I don't know, I'll find out for you. And it works, doesn't it?
We find as well, you just got to be open, transparent and honest with people, because people appreciate that than finding something down the line of, you didn't disclose that at the first time. So we're just open and honest with everyone, aren't we? Male, female, whoever walks through the door, whether you're spending £2,000 up to 10 grand with us, we treat everyone the same.
Yeah, you're probably the same as me because I don't know anything really about cars either. So I think if you just tell people, someone's asking a question about it and you say, I don't really know, but I could probably find out for you and let them know, then that should be good enough, shouldn't it? But yeah, I imagine there was probably is the boss about type sort of questions, but it seems like you've got the right attitude to deal with it. And I do think it must be a massive plus. I always thought having a workshop and having like a female-owned workshop would be amazing, because like you say, the experiences you've had, are you getting ripped off or not? It could be a new avenue for you.
There you go.
We've spoke about it.
Thanks, Joe. Write this one down in the laptop.
Has it been what you expected, having sort of, let's say, go full-time the last year? I guess I can probably already answer the question, having spoken to you. You know, it's probably been better than you expected.
Yes, it took me by surprise, and I take my hat off to anyone within the trade, like mechanics. There's a lot to it, and you've got to know a lot about it. It's every brand of car, every car's different. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy the customer facing, I enjoy the sales side. And you know, sometimes obviously the problem we can face is a car's a mechanical item, and the stock profile we're selling, you know, things happen, like problems happen that you can't avoid, but it's how you deal with it that defines you as a dealership going forward. And if you're dealing with head on, you're picking the phone up straight away, answering questions, getting them booked in. Customers, and we don't really get complaints because they know that we're trying our best to sort that out. And I think we've got the right attitude when it comes to that. But that can be testing at times. Because like I say, it's the unexpected, isn't it? And you think a car's gone out and it's going to be fine, and you've got a phone call, and we couldn't have avoided some things.
Yeah, agree.
But you take your lows with your lows, your highs with your highs, and I think it's, like I say again, it's how you deal with it that defines you as a dealer.
Yeah, I always say customer service doesn't really come into play until something goes wrong. You know, everyone can be nice and say, yeah, here's a lovely car, you should take that away. But until something goes wrong, that's when you really show your true colours. And we always talk about this quite a lot when we do our dealer chats. You know, customers seem to think that because we're selling a car and we're in the car trade, we've got X-ray future vision. We know that it's going to pick up a puncture down the road, and of course that's our fault. But yeah, I don't know why we have that expectations, but it does seem to be that way. I was going to ask you what your sort of long-term goals were and what your short-term goals were, but we've covered that really. You're obviously going to try and increase your stock, and you've got a new site coming, which will be quite exciting. So I feel like I should just ask you what you've bought today, because you outbid me. Was one of them no, it wasn't, because someone else came and told me that they'd won a Dacia Sandero. I think we were bidding on a couple of different ones, but you got 6 and I got 5 in the end.
Yeah, 6 in it, yeah. What did you get, Joe, in the end?
An Audi A6, 2 Land Rover Freelander 2s.
Okay, nice.
And a Ford Fiesta EcoBoost.
Okay.
And a Mocha.
Okay.
Nice.
What was the mileage on your EcoBoost?
I think it was reasonably... I could look it up probably. I think it was about 70 or 80.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I should look it up and tell you.
Joe, what Mocha was it that you bid on? Is it the brown one or the auto?
Yeah, the brown
one.
one.
Yeah.
Did we bid on that in the end? I don't think we did we?
No.
I think I was banned from bidding at that point.
Yeah, I had to
really
handcuff her at that
hit your
point.
quota.
So, yeah.
I took her for a walk, we did.
I took her for a cheeseburger to start. That'll be one thing that stops her from putting her hand up to cheeseburger.
It does get quite exciting, and adrenaline. It's probably like the biggest rush of adrenaline you get, isn't it? When it comes to the car trade, you're buying, especially with 2 lanes going. And
yeah.
Do you think buying's your favourite part?
I love the selling.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, I prefer buying.
You get a buzz off buying at the right price, don't you? You get a massive buzz off buying at the right price. But I love selling. I think, selling and dealing with selling a car to a customer is a nice feeling, isn't it, Jode?
Yeah. Yeah, put them in the right car.
What did we buy today? So we had a Golf, 2014 Golf. We got a couple of automatics. We had a Mini Auto. We had an automatic Clio, 2011 Golf, Peugeot 2008, and a Corsa. So very much our sort of stock, really. No surprises in there, really, was there?
The only surprise was how many had no mott, but...
Found that out after, but...
You win
That's
some,
what happens
you
when
lose
you get
some,
excited
you learn.
and you get carried away. You obviously didn't have, I don't know if I've still got it on me, my little cheat sheet. I was lying in the hotel bedroom last night, just kind of like writing out all the prices and everything I want to pay. I'm usually not quite that organised, but it definitely does help.
There's a few off the cuff, wasn't there, today?
Yeah. What was I going to look at? What was it you asked me?
How many?
Oh, the mileage on the 65,000. So I don't think it's too bad. It sounded okay on my EcoBoost.
Oh, okay. No, that's not too bad.
They're good sellers, aren't
us,
they?
that is.
We love selling your Fiestas, ST lines like EcoBoost and also 208s. But
remember
recently,
that Fiesta for was it EcoBoost, the automatic we sold?
Oh, we had a win on that.
Yeah.
2013 EcoBoost Fiesta, 1 litre. So it was the 100 brake, not 125, but it was auto. And got it online, don't we? Retailed at 5,850.
Yeah, put it online probably about 5:30 Thursday, Friday morning at 10 o'clock. She came to collect it. So
That's the market for automatics is crazy, Royals, at the minute. The demand's gone through the roof on them.
It does seem. Do you think that's due to the test? Because loads of people are taking more auto tests, aren't they? So that's all they can drive.
we get a lot of first-time drivers coming on. Oh, I need an automatic, less than $3,000. But because the demand there of so many people limiting their option of learning an auto, it's just pushing the price up.
Yeah. Bigger people saying, we want a cheap little kind of low mileage automatic for a couple of grand, and you think, they don't exist.
Yeah. Let me know when you find one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll buy all of them. Were you quite happy with the prices you paid? Do you think you got a decent margin in them?
Yeah, it was good. I thought the prices were very good trade prices, actually. I thought it was good. I thought there's a lot of competition, but I think if you hang about and after the first few go through, you seem to get even better prices.
I was bidding on the second car in the auction and the fourth car, and I couldn't get anywhere near them, but I think that's just because everyone's like raring to go, aren't they? So, and I was there pretty much till like the third from last car as well, trying to get a buy. I think as far as questions I had written down, we've covered most of it. Is there anything you want to cover? Like anything you particularly wanted to talk about? Your message, the Wink message you want to get out there?
I think, we'd love to encourage more females to get into the trade because we think it's a great trade to get into. Women do really well in the trade. I think it's sometimes got a bit of a negative light on it, thinking the hours aren't sociable for like families and things like that. But a lot of the trade now, you can see yourself, and I talk to a lot of people experiencing the trade, it's making a massive shift. There's a lot of newness coming in. Youngsters coming in, there's social medias, playing a big part in it, omni-channel, all of that. It's EVs, it's taking a big shift. So I think it's, I think
the pandemic changed the trade massively and people, how they buy cars. And also, when we were selling cars like 8 years ago and you're working for dealer, you'd be doing, and this is why women would be like, you're working till 6, 7 o'clock on a Saturday night, you're doing 6 days a week, 8 till 8. And I think since post-COVID, dealers now shut at 6 o'clock. Most, some are at 4 on a Sunday or some are at 6, and there's no 8 o'clock finishes anymore. And I think us, don't get me wrong, but I think to be a salesperson on the floor in a main dealer,
people's way of shopping's changed, hasn't it?
They give you I've heard a lot of main dealers now, you have a weekend on, a weekend off. Whereas when I was in dealers, it was every Saturday, every other Sunday you had off, that was it. Every other Sunday, but you worked every Saturday. So I think that's changed a lot as well now. The last couple of years, that's what my...
and some big dealers, they've got the close on a Sunday as well. That's something that we'd heard.
Don't agree with that though, Joe, do you?
We close on a Sunday, but our salesman, if he's got a sure thing lined up, he'll go in. But
we do.
We're on appointment basis only, don't we, on a Sunday? So we're not sitting in there all day. But
will you trade a Sunday if you have to go in for like another day in the week, or you're still in the honeymoon period? You still love it. I'm obsessed with work, but I still need one day a week where. Because even then I'm cutting the grass and I'm sorting out the house and whatever. Yeah. I don't think I really ever have a day off.
We have found this, haven't we, the past few months that we've been working that full pelt that we need to have a day off, because the worst thing is if one of you gets ill, that's what's affecting the business. So you've got to find that balance. And as well, we've both got our own houses, we've both got partners, and it's it is getting the cleaning or your washing done, everything, but that's what you're doing on your day off, which is a bit boring.
Not neglecting your life.
Yeah.
And that's what... But we have got better at that. We do have a day off, or we try to have a day off in the week now, don't we? We rotate it.
Yeah, once a week each.
But yeah, it's important, but And we're your own boss, aren't you? If you feel like if you felt like you needed a day off, we'd tell each other.
Yeah, just communicate.
Yeah. Can you include your partners in work at all? Because I wouldn't include mine. It would just drive me mad.
No.
So maybe you need that separation.
No. My partner's my business partner as well. I've got a coffee shop, and I'll have as little to do with her as we can, because you can't mix the both.
No, it's not a good mix, is it?
You can't mix the both, no.
Having each other's enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's my bridesmaid. I asked her to be my bridesmaid
really?
in the shed for when I'm getting married next door. So that's how, next year, sorry. That's how close we are and together enough, isn't it? So we don't need anyone else, I don't think, for now.
No. Well, that's the kind of relationship you need, I guess, for a partnership, because, like you say, they're not always easy, but if you have got the respect and everything there, then that's great.
I've got a question for you, Joe, as well, just because we'd like to learn. At what stage did you think, right, I need an next pair of hands? Because if you started trading yourself, similar to us, at what stage did you think, I need another pair of hands? And what did you use that other pair of hands for? Was it for organising your prep, or was it for buying, or was it for selling, or a bit of everything?
Admin.
Media?
I think the first, to be fair, when I started out in car sales, I, under my own steam, I had someone working for me the whole time. So it's kind of almost like a bit of a partnership. It wasn't really, I was paying for everything and he was an employee, but so I had someone right from the get-go. It's kind of a bit like yourselves. We both just chipped in and did everything. Collecting car. We used to put a sign on the door, like, back in 15 minutes, and I might have been going up to the Midlands to collect a car. So I was going to be 4 hours, but put a sign on saying I'll be 15 minutes.
Call me. We got there.
Yeah. But then it was getting someone to clean the cars. And I think probably the best advice, whether it's necessarily what I did or not, I don't know, is add up all the time you spend doing the things you don't like, whether that's the admin, the cleaning the cars, the moving the cars around, running them to and from the M&T centre, and that's however much time that is. Could you employ someone that would take that off and give you the time to do what you do best, which is obviously the sales, promoting yourselves, again, because I think, like you say, since the pandemic, I think people were so used to doing everything online that they want to figure out what that car dealer is going to be like online before they get there. And I think that's why...
Oh, I totally agree with that. Like, I think us having a promotional video and things on our website puts you ahead of other people, and they feel like they've half already know you if they see you talking on there, and it's more approaching the dealership with a bit more, feeling a bit more comfort.
Customers have already researched the car. They've checked their insurance 9 times out of 10. They've researched you. They've searched your business up on Company's House. They've searched your social media. They've searched your Facebook. So unless, excuse me for saying this word, but unless you're a knob, you're going to buy that car. You just, or unless the car's not right, sorry. Yeah. But I think a lot of it these days, they've more or less made a decision prior to coming down, because people value the time a lot more post-pandemic. They don't want us. We noticed in dealers, you don't have as many walk-ons. I think it's building back up now. But post-pandemic, people are doing so much more online, but they do want that human aspect of having a human interaction and engaging with someone at the end of the process to know if something's going wrong with my car, I need to know who I'm speaking to and that they're going to answer the phone to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so powerful to have a good online presence and look after, nurture your reviews, because that really helps us, doesn't it? And otherwise, like, you're competing the same as everybody else, but if you can have a good online presence, the way the world is going, I think it really helps.
Yeah, we've had customers come down to us, because when we first started, we said Google reviews. We really pushed them and have the whole way through, haven't we? And we've had customers come down and say to us, "Oh, we've come down here, we're buying off you because we've been through your reviews." You know, so it's been worth pushing them, hasn't it? In the end, and they're travelling a couple of hours sometimes to us, so yeah, it's paid off.
Yeah, I was going to say you would. If I was buying a car, if you was buying a car, if my dad's buying a car, you check reviews, don't you? And you check the dealer out. And
you basically said exactly what I always say, Joe, which is car dealerships that aren't really selling cars these days, you're kind of just like facilitating. People have already decided, haven't they? Like I say, if they turn up and the car's not ruined, they're probably going to buy it. Like they've checked the MOT history, they've checked everything. Like you said, And you're there to kind of like say, we've got a card machine if you want to pay that way, or we can help you with finance. And don't worry, we've got the warranty and you're there to just give them all those things. They don't really want you to help them make the decision in a way.
That's the easy ones, and I love it when they give it. I love having to sell a car and they've made you work for that sale. Remember the guys from Scotland?
Yeah.
Saturday morning, come down on a TT, I'll work for that deal. And like after you think, I held my guns, my price, and he's walked away with the car and he's happy as well. And
Go on, tell the story.
Lovely guy. 2 lads travelled down from Scotland, got a plane from Edinburgh to Birmingham, got the train from Birmingham to Tipton where we are, picked him up from the train station, took him to the car wash, to the shed quarters, to the pitch, sorry, not the car wash, and went into the TT. Beforehand, sent him the videos, he'd left a deposit on it, loved it, it was for his missus. Goes into the TT, it's a Saturday morning, bear in mind, first thing you do, pull the bonnet latch, don't you? Snapped in his hand. It's an Audi, it's brittle. I was like,
and
it's a Saturday morning.
He knew his stuff about cars as well, didn't he? He was savvy. We let him bring his diag machine down, so looking under the bonnet was crucial to him.
He's got a plane down here. I'm thinking, it's like Saturday morning, none of my mechanics are in, what am I going to do? We can't get up under the bonnet. So we're ringing round, not panicking, like, I'll get it sorted for you, Mr. Customer, it's okay, no worries. And we did in the end, didn't we? We found a local body shop that we use, and luckily it was open. And luckily he had an actual TT in the body shop. So he just took the handle off and gave it me. And
it was Monday morning, replace it, wasn't it? So close call.
That's the motor trade all over though, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah,
you can't call it. You
roller
can't.
Coaster.
And you can plan, and that car was prepped. We'd been under it ourselves, under the bonnet. It was ready to go. It was a beautiful car, ready to drive away. Snaps. Apparently they've changed it now. It was a common fault on them. I've heard.
There's always something, isn't there? Like something like that happens and you just, oh God, why did that have to happen? But this is the thing with cars, you can never predict it, can you? So that's why.
It's such a good feeling when they go out after.
I know,
you think, yes.
And they're happy. And there's always a solution, isn't there? Even if you say, look, we'll get it open and we'll pay to get you have to pay to fix it anyway. We'll fix it at your end. Yeah. I think the biggest hurdle is, which you're probably very good at, is putting people at ease, because I think car dealers are dodgy. The biggest hurdle's like, we'll sort everything for you. It's going to be okay, sort of thing.
Yeah, try and
not flap. A few flap customers are going to flap, aren't they?
And make it a seamless process as possible with little hiccups as possible. That puts them at ease, doesn't it? And like if they've been in, listen to the horror story they've had and say, I get it, I can imagine why you have got your back up and you wall up when coming car shopping. Yeah. We understand.
Last night, we were selling a TT last night. Kingfisher Blue 2001. That was actually really overaged, but it's sold now, so it's not in our figures today. And soon she walked through the door, she went, is this where I'm going to, what did she say? Is this where I get ripped off or something?
Is this where I get ripped off and drive the car off and it's going to have all the lights on the dash?
On the lights on the dash. And we was like, whoa. I said, what's happened? And she went, I said, have you been stung in the past? She went, yeah. She went, I was sold a car. Oh, bless her. She went, I was sold a car. And she went, I drove off and the lights come on. I went to the mechanic. He said, show me your invoice. And the tick spares and repairs.
And Cat N.
And it was Cat N. And she didn't know this young girl going to buy a car herself. And I'm thinking, how can people want to put that onto... How can you go to bed at night doing that anyway? I don't work like that. But how can you put that onto a customer? And so her back naturally is up. But by the end of it, she's has left us a nice review today, and it was relaxed. But this is what we're saying, car buying, we don't think car buying should be daunting. You should feel comfortable buying a car. It's the second biggest asset you buy after your house for most people is your car. So it is a big purchase. You are going to be a little bit nervous. So let's try and make it as a relaxed and easiest process as possible. If you don't want to buy that car, that's fine. Well, somebody else will buy another. Like we're
not pushy sales.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? Like I said the other day, a customer came around and said, I don't think it's the car for me. And I said to Joe, like, there's no point. If they've made that decision, that's all right. I mean, sometimes you can say like, oh, is there anything else? Is it price? Is what could I do for you? But you can lose your credibility as a person by going in and badgering them.
Yeah.
And it's not a good look either, I don't think, personally, because I know if that was me, I'd be like, oh no, I don't like that, pressured sales.
Desperate and all.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree. Well, when I used to sell, I was really hands off. It's like, have a look. If you like it, you don't. And if they're like, I'm not sure, it's like, no problem. But there's no pressure. No, you have to put money down. I mean, there is a chance someone else will phone up and put a deposit down. Like, oh, that really sounds really salesman, but it's the truth. 9 times out of 10, the more you back off, the more they'll be like, do you know what? I thought about it and I came back and you seem genuine, and that's the most important thing, isn't it? So
yeah, because they can go and view another car after that and see that, bodywork's horrendous and think, you know what, I'll go back to these guys. If you just say, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call and just leave it on a comfortable note.
It's one of the most satisfying things when you know you've prepped your cars well, and then it's sort of like, we're going to go and have a look at a couple more. You say, no problem, yeah. But when you've seen them, give us a call. Because you can almost guarantee that you know yours is going to be better.
Yes.
Which is a really good feeling. Right, I think we'll probably leave it around about there because you've got to get back to the Midlands. I've got to get back down south. Where can everyone find you? What would you like them to find your socials? And I think you're even starting YouTube now?
We are going to start YouTube.
Been filming today, haven't we?
Yes.
So bear with us on the YouTube because it's just me and Jodie doing it, Jodie and I doing it, so it's not going to be...
We're not the biggest tech heads, no.
People will love it.
So you know what, it's a bit unpolished, but you know what, we're just going to show the real side of what we do, be honest on there, and just try and put our personalities across and how we're going to grow our business and follow the story and the journey.
Yeah, so our YouTube's The Female Car Dealers, our Instagram is Wink Cars, our TikTok's Wink Cars, and our Facebook is Wink Cars.
Yeah, it was nice and easy, wasn't it?
Wink Cars.
Yeah.
Wink Cars.
Wink Cars and the Female Car Dealers.
That's it.
Yeah.
Perfect. We will put all of that in the description and link it over. Hopefully everyone go and check it out. I'm sure you will see loads of people come over, and people are going to love the sort of raw and real footage. Ours is probably over polished. He's dead weight, really, Toby. Over edits them.
It's great.
Yeah, well, that's it. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and do a kind of special dealer chat live. It's been a pleasure.
No, thanks for having us,
Thanks
Joe.
for having us,
Enjoyed
Joe.
it.
It's been good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.